Yo, welcome back to this new video. Today I wanted to share with you a wonderful item that you could gather from your own garden if you own your own house or have a FC gardening plot available to you, because that's the prerequisite. If you don't have that, well, I'm sorry, you can't do it. The only way you can make money with these items then is to buy them off the market board and then try to sell them for a profit in the long run. But if you do have a gardening plot available, like I have since a little while, you can actually pull this one off, because I only started doing this ever since this month. For all these years I only focused on making gil as a botanist or miner, but then I realized gardening could actually be fun as well. Since I own a plot since a couple months, well, I might as well make use of it. So today I wanted to share with you how you can get Adamantite Nuggets. That's what the items is called. I can show it in my inventory right here. It's that bluish thing in the top right corner of my inventory. Now these sell regularly, consistently, for a pretty high price on our server. So I hope on your server it would be the same, so you can make a profit off it yourself. But if you've never sold this item, you probably have no idea how to get it. Well, the first thing you're going to have to need, once you have a gardening plot like this, it doesn't have to be anything special, but it needs to be a place where you can put something in the ground, basically. Well, then the next step is that you're going to need to get soil. So what I suggest you do is get grade 1 soil, which you can easily get from one of the apartment merchants that is, well, somewhere in the area. Let me go there real quick on my bird, because that's what I did myself when I tried to get the item earlier. Well, I mentioned grade 1 soil before we approach this merchant, but what you can use is actually even easier. You just need this one right here. It says potting soil. So you can buy this off of him for only 120 gil. You need that in order to plant seeds. You need certain seeds. Well, what seeds? Once you've bought this soil from this guy, I suggest you go to your grand company. You can also get the lavender seeds apparently from this guy if you use free company points. But if you don't want to spend your free company points itself, you can use the other ones, right? The other currency. Man, I keep forgetting all the names. There's so many fucking names. What is the name of this car? It's the seals. Man, oh man. Like, you have to remember so many different little things in order to make gil in this game. Okay, so you can use the company seals instead. So right now I have only 668, so I would have to collect more in order to buy these lavender seeds for myself. But you can get it from your grand company, which I'll show you in a second, because there's one more item that you should get in order to speed up the process. This guy also sells fish meal fertilizer, which is underneath the soil you just bought. It's literally underneath right here you see fish meal. Now you need this in order to fertilize the ground. What it does is apparently speed up the growth time of the Althyk Lavender seeds that you bought from your grand company. Because what you're going to have to do is wait 24 hours in real life time in order for these plants to grow big enough so you can then harvest them and exchange them for Adamantite Nuggets also at this specific NPC. So real quick, I'll show you where to get the seeds that you need in order to actually grow the Althyk Lavender itself. So the seeds themselves are called Althyk Lavender seeds. It's all very simple, it's pretty straightforward, but you have to go to the grand company. So for me that would be in Gradania, and for you it might be a different one, but you know where to find it anyway, unless you're totally ignorant about the matter. But once you're here with this guy, you can get it pretty easily, because you don't need to be a high rank in order to get these seeds. So you go to this guy right here. I think it was on the first rank even that's available. And what do you see? Right here, Althyk Lavender seeds. Well, it costs you 500 company seals. So if you don't have a lot, you should grind this in order to buy as many as you can. But of course the gardening plot itself has a limit to how many plants you can put in the ground, so you do have that limitation to work with. But once you have these seeds and you have the soil, you put them into the ground. You put the soil into your gardening plot first, because it's gonna ask you that. So you don't have to worry about messing this up where you're like, oh, I did it in the wrong order. No, that can't happen. It's going to first ask you what soil and then what seeds needs to be planted. And then you can do that right here in any of these available spots. And then remember the fish meal fertilizer. What you can do with this fertilizer is use it once every hour in order to speed up the process of growth. So this might sound a little weird, but the idea is that if you would not use fertilizer, it would take you about 24 hours in order to grow Althyk Lavenders. Then you can harvest it. But if you use fertilizer once an hour, you can speed up the time in half, technically. If you were to be playing 12 hours straight, you would use fertilizer once an hour for 12 hours in a row. You would already have the plants apparently 12 hours from now. So that's kind of ridiculous. I never did that. I only used fertilizer once, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait 23 hours. So that's exactly what I did. And then lo and behold, something turned up in my garden. So right here in the background you can see a different footage. This is after the plants had grown in my garden 24 hours later. So I had to wait a whole day in order to make this video the way it is now. But as you can see, I'm inspecting them, and then I can harvest the crop, which gives me in this case 2 sprigs of Althyk Lavender. So I harvested all of them, and then the idea is that you can trade them in at the same NPC we used earlier to get the ingredients for the gardening plot itself for Adamantite Nuggets. And those are specifically the items that seem to be selling for a nice price. Now this is just one of many different items you could create and gather through your own gardening plot that sell for insane profit. I've seen a few more items that have a really fun price, but it seems it would take you about 7 days in real life, like no joke, in order to actually grow these plants in your garden that will then end up selling for a crazy amount on the market. So I will have a future video on that as well. So the idea here of gardening ultimately is that if you're even too lazy to be a gatherer, too lazy to be a crafter, well, this is one other option that you can use in order to make gil in this game. Because all you really realistically have to do is use your gardening plot, put the right seeds into the ground, use the right fertilizer in order to speed up the growth process, and then don't forget to water the plants at least once every 24 hours in real life time as well, to keep the plants healthy so that the harvest will be nice. And then, you know, you can basically make money that way. So there's a little work to it. You just have to know what to put into the ground in order to get the right result. But this is another fun way I realized of making gil. So that's exactly what I just did right now in the background, is turn the lavender plants I grew in my garden in for Adamantite Nuggets, as you can see. So I got 14 of them. Now in order to get 99, you're going to have to repeat this process for a couple times, basically. So you do need patience, but ultimately, because it's so simple to do this, it's not the kind of patience where you're getting frustrated. You just know this is happening automatically in the background for you, while you can do other things like quests or leveling your other DPS or whatever classes you're interested in. So hopefully this gave you some more insight on how to make gil in this game, in this case as someone that owns their own gardening plot, because it can help you out a lot to get rich as fuck. Now if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing to receive more Final Fantasy XIV videos on a regular basis, and I'll see you in the next video.